ጉዞ ተጀምሯል ወደ ቤት። ይህ የሙከራ ቪዲዮ ነው። የሙከራ ቪዲዮ ነው። የዩቲዩብ ቻናሌን ሰብስክራይብ፣ ላይክ አድርጉ። ቋንቋቸውን የማላቃቸውን ሁሉ ነው ሰብስክራይብ ላይክ ማደርገው። ምንም የሚጎዳኝ ነገር የለም። ስለዚህ ሁላችሁም ይህንን ቪዲዮ የምትመለከቱ የሙከራ ቪዲዮ ስለሆነ ላይክ፣ ሰብስክራይብ ማድረጋችሁን እንዳትረሱ። የእግዚአብሔር ፍቃድ ከሆነ አዳዲስ ነገሮችን ይዤ ለመምጣት ሞክራለሁ። ያው ክረምቱም እየገባ ነው እንግዲህ
a corporation to set the terms of employment and to opt out of the, in this case, the state system that governs employment arrangements, they're probably going to take advantage of it for their own devices. And that's exactly what happened here. The big reason why the average rate is so much lower than the state minimum wage is that the guaranteed minimums that were put into the ballot measure are only operative for what are called engaged hours. In other words, times when a driver is actually taking a rider to a location. None of the times when a rider is waiting around or heading to a location or after dropping off goes away to go somewhere else or even drives home. None of that is counted in that guaranteed minimum. And so it's $15 an hour or 20% above $15 an hour
as they promise.
While you're actually taking a ride, but that's not the whole job. Unless you're always picking someone up when you drop someone off, that's not the whole job. And so that's what creates these averages, which are far, far below the $15 an hour threshold.
Now, was that anything that would we have been able to understand that? And I know, most people do not read the fine details of these propositions, which are often meant to be very confusing. Is that something that we would have understood had we read all of those fine details? Was that clear, or was that something that they changed later?
If you know what engaged hours, engaged hours, when you are engaged at work, in the work that you do you count not just the time that you're on the air, but also the time you spend preparing to be on the air, the time you spend, booking guests like myself. All of that is time spent at work. But according to Lyft and Uber, that's not time spent at work at all. It's only this thin amount of time when you're actually engaged. And so unless you understand what Lyft and Uber and DoorDash and the other rideshare companies that were involved in this ballot measure, unless you understand what they mean by engaged, there wasn't that much of a way. And this is all presuming that you go to the booklet and read every word of a ballot.
Yeah, and as you could tell from those two ads for Prop 30 that I played, one for and one against, they're 30-second ads. They don't have time to really even explain what they actually do. They just explain to you what they want you to know about any particular proposition. So with that in mind, there's reason to be suspicious of Lyft, who has yet another new California ballot initiative, that's Prop 30, to raise taxes on millionaires. That sounds good, Dave. To invest in electric vehicles, charging stations, to fund more firefighters in the state. This all sounds very good to me. Why would this be supported by the state firefighters and the Lung Association and the Democratic Party, but opposed by our Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom? Who's got this one right? What the hell is going on?
Well, I will explain to you why. I would personally say there's nothing that objectionable. As you say, it's on millionaires for things that we need: public infrastructure, wildfire suppression. The reason that Lyft is supported is that there's a separate state law that requires, I believe it's 90% of all rideshare miles traveled by 2030 to be in zero-emission vehicles. So that means that every Lyft, every Uber, practically, has to be an electric vehicle or some other zero-emission vehicle. Now, as you know, Uber and Lyft don't buy the vehicles for the drivers. The drivers have their own vehicles. However, if this mandate comes into place, and it will by within 8 years, Uber and Lyft are going to have to figure something out. And Uber has even said, we will subsidize our drivers so they can buy an electric vehicle so they can keep driving for us. So that's the choice Uber made. The choice Lyft made was to try to get taxpayers to pay for it, try to get millionaires to pay for it, and put that into a fund that so the state helps
people purchase electric vehicles in the hopes that some of those people will end up driving for Lyft. Now, it's a bit of a bank shot for, I don't really understand what Gavin Newsom is saying. It threatens our fiscal future, unless you think that the people who make enormous sums of money in California are taxed too much already for some reason, or you think that they're going to, hit a limit. I don't agree with that. But I do think that this sets kind of a worrying precedent. Here's a company that is required to do something by state law through a mandate, and they said, okay, well, let's go to the voters instead and get somebody else to pay for it. You can see that precedent applying to a lot of other situations which would not be as favorable as taxing millionaires for electric vehicles, right? You can see how that might be trouble, that a company faced with a mandate can just say, well, I'll pay less than what it would cost me with a mandate to just, run a ballot measure campaign and get the voters to agree with me, and I get off scot-free. And yet, there are, I'm still not clear why that would lead Newsom to oppose it. I think the teachers union, am I right about that? The teachers union may also oppose. Teachers union is also against it. I mean, I can't totally speak to their rationale unless they think that a lot of other corporations are going to do this. Certainly, there's a lot of money already earmarked for subsidizing electric vehicles. Something like $10 billion, right, over the next 5 years. That calls into question whether we need more money in order to do that. Think of how many vehicles $10 billion can buy for health funds. It's very curious, as you say. It's kind of unprecedented for a governor to decide to be the spokesperson for a ballot measure.
Right. I don't remember it ever happening before, particularly a governor who's supposed to be running his own election at the same time, spending his time as for another ballot. I think Schwarzenegger might have done it for some measures that he had personally put on the ballot through the legislature, if I recall. That's correct. Yeah. Right. Yeah. He doesn't have any financial kind of ties to, or unless you think that he represents a financial tie. He doesn't. He doesn't have that direct connection the way Schwarzenegger said. Vote for this and pass my budget that I want passed. Right. By the way, he was unsuccessful. Correct. That's right. And we'll see what happens here with Prop 30. But it is interesting. Interestingly enough, the Uber Lyft ballot measure was the most expensive ballot measure in U.S. history at the time. That's already been eclipsed this year by Prop 27. Props 26 and 27 in conjunction are spending twice as much as what the $450 billion have gone into Props 26 and 27. Million, not billion, right? Okay. It hasn't gotten that bad yet. No, it's not that bad. But $500 million. I know. It's unbelievable. And actually, that is what really grabbed my attention in your piece of prospect on this. Citing a National Equity Atlas study finding, quote, the real costs of Prop 22 are unclear. Uber and Lyft now legally pay their drivers operating wages. But you use that as the basis for the assertion that the initiative system in California, the ballot initiative system, is a, quote, failed experiment with direct democracy. That's a serious assertion. Is the entire system a failure, or is it something that could be fixed to prevent these scammy propositions purchased by major corporations who have enough money to buy their way into California law? I think it's frankly borne out by results. I mean, certainly there are ideas for reform. You can get the legislature involved, and you could do things like a three strikes law, where if a ballot measure is on the ballot twice and fails, you
can't put it on again for a little while.
Yeah.
We have a ballot measure this year, Prop 29. This is the third time it's been on, substantially in the same form. I think that if you look at the results here, that what matters when you put a measure on the California ballot is how much money is behind it, right? And you really have this instance of corporations knowing that they are able to buy democracy. The best example I give for this is something that actually never made the ballot. California, various cities were flirting with a tax on soda. We saw this in Philadelphia and in New York City with Michael Bloomberg, a tax on sugary drinks that would go towards public health measures to, counteract, frankly, what happens to people when they drink a lot of sugary drinks. So the soda industry got wind of this, and they floated the idea that they were going to put a ballot measure together to ban cities in California from passing these kinds of soda taxes. And the legislature preempted that by passing their own ban on the city. So here is an instance where just the threat from a large corporation to spend a lot of money to get what they want triggers the legislature to do the job for them. So this is a real serious problem.
It is.
And I think we do need to look at rethinking this entire system.
I think we definitely need reform. I think it's an important, way, in theory, to get important things on for the public, to get important things onto the ballot that might have no way in. But when it's been taken over the way it has been by corporations, it is hard to make that argument anymore, to be frank. Let me take a quick break here, David. Can you stick around? I want to ask you about these other points. Can you stick around for a quick break?
No problem.
Thank you, sir. We got to do a quick fund drive break here. We will be back with David Dayen, executive editor of The American Prospect. I want to find out about this kind of stunning ruling on Thursday, I think, last week, by a right-wing court saying that the entire Consumer Financial Protection Bureau essentially is unconstitutional. I will explain after a quick break. I'm Brad Friedman, and you are listening to the Bradcast. Hey, this is Brad. If you haven't noticed by now, it's no easy feat finding facts, real facts, not alternative facts, over your public airwaves. We try to bring you real facts, truth, and clarity without fear or favor each and every day on the Bradcast. But we need your help to do it. If you enjoy the show and or get something from it, please give back a bit if you can by visiting us at bradblog.com/donate. Your support helps Desi and me continue to bring you real, independent, progressive news 5 days a week over your public airwaves. We simply can't do it without your help, and that help is needed more now than ever. Please stop by bradblog.com/donate today to make a one-time donation, or even better, automated monthly support. It'll take you about 60 seconds, and you can rest easy knowing that we'll be here every day making sense of it all, or at least trying to. That's bradblog.com/donate.